Hello and welcome to the Golf Course Lawn Show. My name is Ron Henry and I'm here to help answer your lawn care questions. Now, if this is the first time you're joining us, welcome. Super happy to have you here. The way this works is really simple. On your screen, you will see a chat box in which you can enter your question, concern, comment of the day, and I work through them in the order that they come in. Now, sometimes I have the answer, sometimes I do not. We have an awesome time talking about lawn care and sometimes life. Well, guys, November is upon us. We're only a few weeks out from Thanksgiving, which is kind of crazy to say that this year has gone by that quickly. Christmas will be here before you know it, soon after that. And then we'll be running it right back around January, getting ready for pre-emergent and getting, creating those lawns that our neighbors are absolutely going to envy. This week has been pretty interesting. On Wednesday, I got invited to go down to Tifton, Georgia by the University of Georgia, to speak at their conference, the 76 Turfgrass Conference. I want to make sure I'm saying that correctly. And it was cool. It was really cool because you got to see a lot of some of the new things that they're working on, some of the development that they've been doing on new Bermuda grass, and some of the testing that goes into creating even cool season cultivars, which is something that I wasn't really, I didn't really know that UGA really participated in a big way. So we can share some of that with you guys tonight. I've posted a couple of videos that you guys, if you're following the channel, if you're subscribed, you've seen them. There was one yesterday and then one today, both on the development work they do on cool season grasses. But yeah, man, it was a good time. Dr. Philip Vines, and as Ben, there's a few others that come to mind that were, they were great to run across. And what's kind of cool is they have, as far as like getting one or two of them on the live stream at some point to answer questions. Like there's one doctor that was down there. I think he came from University of Tennessee. We'll have to forgive him for that. I think he's a Bulldog now. I think he's still on the full conversion path. But I mean, at some point, it'd be cool to get him on because it was interesting to see all the testing they do even on herbicides. So I'll talk a little bit about that tonight. And as always, taking your questions and seeing what you guys got going on this time of year. I want to spend a little bit of time as well talking about, given that we're in November, one of the questions I often get is what can you be doing in November to set yourself up for success for the spring? So we can chat about that a little bit. And we got a couple of pictures from viewers that we can, we can share with you guys as well. All right, so let's jump into the comments first. We got Mr. Jackie Bear up first. He says, Brother Ron, have an excellent stream, sir. I appreciate that, Jackie. Thanks for coming by and saying hello. And then Ninos Yokana says, hello, Ron and everyone. I'm here with a big like and support. I have visitors coming to my house. Need to drop shortly, but I wanted to drop a big like and say hello. No worries, Ninos. I mean, I figure we're into, well into fall. It's going to be, the live streams will be shorter, and I'm sure they'll get longer again as we get back into the busier part of the growing season. So we'll see what kind of precision we have tonight. All right. And we got Scott Smith as well saying, good evening, everybody. What's going on, Scott? Hopefully you're doing well. But yeah, guys, so the trip down to UGA, tons of fun. Long drive, going there and coming back. Coming back was way worse because of Atlanta traffic. But what's kind of cool is, their campus, they got UGA out there. They're at the conference center, which is kind of cool. And then as we finished the various topics, talking about, environmental issues, different ways of using robotics to control weeds, which is kind of cool. I mean, that's probably something that's more on a level for big sports fields, not necessarily something you're going to see at homes just yet, but just the technology is actually pretty cool that they're working on as far as, getting better lawns, lower environmental impact, all that jazz. So it's pretty cool that, to get down there and be able to see some of that. All right, so we have Scott here. He says, with a couple days in the 50s, my Bermuda grass is starting to get sleepy. Now with freeze coming over on Monday, Tuesday, it will definitely go dormant. Yeah, man. So it's supposed to rain tomorrow, and then I think you're right. It's either Sunday or Monday or Monday, Tuesday. It's supposed to get really cold here, which if your lawn is not started going dormant yet, that will absolutely finish it off. We have some pictures here that a viewer sent in before the live stream, Nate. He's from Central Texas, and he wanted to say, hey, listen, guys, hope springs eternal in Central Texas. My Bermuda grass is holding on to its color, so I can show you guys that. Thanks for sending these out. So this is pictures were taken a couple of days ago, which is, Bermuda grass, Central Texas in November. That looks pretty good, man. That's looking solid. And then another shot there. Telma Man is doing, he's real mowing it, and he's doing a checkerboard pattern, which I like, near and dear to my heart. And a little close up so you can see how it is. I mean, it's starting to fall off a little bit, but again, for November, you can't really complain about that, right? You can't complain about that at all. Looks pretty awesome. So Nate, thanks so much for sending the pictures in. Really do appreciate it. Next up is Andre Taylor, also talking about the last mow of the season. He says, what up, Ron? Happy Friday. Just finished mowing about an hour ago, and I think it might be the last mow of the season. It's been 2 weeks since I last cut. Don't say that, man. It might come back. You might get out there and mow it again. For me, my Bermuda grass, I could mow it. There's not a whole lot to cut at this point. And the zoysia, I've still been keeping up with that because I'm trying to keep it growing as long as possible. Keep the Xeon going as long as possible. It's going to start falling off as well, but I'm going to, that's going to be my focus throughout the rest of the fall and winter to try and keep the zoysia, give it everything I can to keep it as green for as long as possible. Kind of cool. When I was at UGA in Tifton, I forget his last name. His first name is David, but I think he's at Blade. I think it's Blade Runner Farms is what it was. But the guy that actually helped created Xeon zoysia, I brought it to us like many years ago. Was kind of cool. Got to actually meet the guy that is largely responsible for the grasses in my front lawn, which is pretty neat. And it's, what it is, man? It's also cool. Like, we're grass nerds, right? Like, we enjoy a good lawn. We enjoy getting that manicured turf. But it's also really cool to hang out with a bunch of really down-to-earth, like, super grass nerds. Like, all these guys are all PhDs, and it's interesting to see people that are truly passionate just about turf grass. You know what I mean? Like, it's interesting how they even refer to the grass as, like, individuals, and it's a really, really cool experience. I'll show you guys real quick here a video of the farm. As I went out after we finished the conference, they took us out for a tour. So these are all the fields where they have different plots, different things that they're testing. And what's kind of cool is when we get here, I'm going to share something with you guys. I don't know. Don't ask me when it's going to be released or if it's going to be released or whatever. I know it's still in testing. But there's a type of Bermuda grass called Tiff Shade, which seems almost impossible, right? Seems like an impossible name. Sounds like an oxymoron, like shade tolerant Bermuda grass, right? But if we get to right, I think it's right here. Right. Nope, we're still going. It's further out towards the end of this. Yeah, here it is. Right here, right after this plot. Um, they're working on, there it is. I'm sure you can zoom in, you can make that out. But that plot of grass we're looking at there is a cultivar they're developing called Tiff Shade, which is supposed to be a version of Bermuda grass that is more shade tolerant. What's also cool, kind of difficult to make out, but if you see those various markings that are on the lawn, like a bunch of little posts that are there, like you see them all kind of lined up. What was cool about that is, you guys know, this year we've had a like spurge, prostate spurge has been a big issue. Like I've gotten a lot of emails, a lot of phone calls about spurge in people's lawns. And it was interesting. They were doing some testing on various herbicides against spurge. So every single one of those plots that you see there that's marked, every single one of these is, I'll pause it again. You see right there, every one of those is a different herbicide combination. Some of the ones are ones, most of them are ones that I've heard of. We're doing everything from Celsius, Blindside, Dismiss, Speed Zone. Celsius was in there. Recognition, recognition and Fusilade. I guess they're just testing tolerance of that as far as like the Bermuda grass goes. But I mean, it was really interesting. I've got another video that that I have not posted yet that shows each one of those. The audio for it is not the best, so I may have to see if I can bug Ben to come on and kind of talk through some of the work that he was doing. But it was really cool, you know, seeing like the effect that like on the same stand of turf grass, multiple different herbicides. I think there are probably 15 or so different combinations that were used and just to see how the grass tolerated. It was really cool, interesting. As expected, like Dismiss and Speed Zone cause more discoloration than like, for example, Celsius. They also had Celsius out there, and Celsius, as true to form, was in pretty good shape. I may have some video of it that I did. I took myself after the fact, but actually I've got yeah, I can share this with you guys here. This is one that I'm working on that will come out at some point this week. But yeah, you can see a close up there of the various plots. I mean, probably not coming across right now. I may upload it here and actually show you guys. But it was interesting to see the effects on the same Santa Bermuda grass, all sprayed at rates per the label, how it was tolerated by those different, you know, because you don't get to do that very often. You know, I don't ever go out and spray my lawn with a bunch of different herbicides just to be able to see like what it tolerates and what it doesn't. So it was really cool stuff. So yeah, again, if any of the folks from UGA are watching, again, thank you guys so much. It was really great to have you on. And you know, there's a disease specialist that I think was also interested in you know, being, you know, at some point coming on and chatting about turfgrass diseases if we care about it. So yeah, man, we're about to get a little more nerdy here on the show here at some point. So it was really exciting. All right, next up we got Mr. Andre Taylor. He says, "What up, Ron?" Nope, we already did that. He says, "Not much clippings coming off." We already did his mowing. And then Steve K's up next. He says, "Good evening, Ron, and all mowed for the last time yesterday." Man, listen, listen, guys, we got to be more positive. There's a whole lot of, "This is the last time I mowed. It's all done. I put my mower up. You know, the season's over. I may as well just, you know, watch football." I mean, you never know, man. We might get a warm snap here in Georgia again. I mean, it's not going to be cold for the rest of the fall at all. But yeah. At any rate, if you get a little break, Steve, take it, right? You said you're in East Tennessee. Cool. Yeah, no worries about that. And then Scott Smith says, "Yeah, I just bought my real mower and got 2 mows with it, and it's barely growing." Yeah, well, here's the thing, Scott. I mean, you did get your mower at the end of the season, right? I know you got your, what was it, the 7-blade push wheel mower. It is towards the end of the season. You got to, you know, put some reps in with it, but then next year you'll be ready to hit the ground running. You got your equipment, you got it all worked out, you know how to use it. And here's the thing, enjoy this downtime, because before you know it, 2026 will be here, and then you'll have to be out there. So the fact that you don't have to mow right now, enjoy that. Enjoy the fact that that's a thing that now that you don't have to do, and you can enjoy the downtime. All right, yeah, I think I can get this video up to show you guys, to share with you, like also some of the herbicide testing that they were doing was kind of cool against the different grass types. Let's see here. You don't want to see my head on there, but if we look here, there's a, yeah, you can see like all the different plots that they used. You have one control. I think I actually went down and showed each one of them, and then you have dismiss. And again, you can look down, you can see the differences as far as like discoloration. But dismiss caused some. This is like a check that had nothing done to it. So this is like our control. And then dismiss NXT, a little bit of discoloration. I think blindside was the one that really, like, Bermuda grass did not like. You can see the one there, that little patch is kind of light. As I walk through it here, we'll stop and I'll narrate because you guys can't hear the audio for this. But you had dismiss, you had dismiss south, Trimic, Trimic southern, speed zone. In a second here, we're gonna get to blind. Yeah, you see the blindside plot right there. It stands out like a sore thumb as far as you know, this tip shade not really tolerating, not really liking it really well. Blindside's kind of a cool herbicide in that, you know, you can it's one of the few that have that you can spray on both cool and warm season lawns. And has control for some weeds that are difficult to kill. But I mean, as you can tell, it can give the lawn a little bit of ouchie. And what's cool is all the testing they're also doing with recognition, because recognition, you know, it has that safe internet that allows you to use it on for controlling Bermuda grass and zoysia. But they were literally mixing everything in their grandmother with this stuff. So you had recognition and fusilade, which I'm well aware of. Let me see, segment 2 in recognition, a couple other herbicides that they also did as well. But yeah, this is again separate video. I'll clean the audio up for this and I'll get this one posted maybe sometime this weekend so you guys can check it out. But yeah, it was good times. All right, next up we have Higgy Pop. He says, happy Friday, everyone. Let's all hit the like button for Ron. It's free. That is true. It is free. It costs absolutely nothing to support the channel. It's a free way to do so. And if you guys wouldn't mind, I would really, really, really appreciate it. We also have Michael Coulthard saying, hey, what's going on, Michael? Hopefully you're doing well, sir. And guys, one of the questions you guys had is around, you know, we're in the month of November. You know, for the most part, as far as inputs into your lawn, we're pretty much done for the most part of the country. If you're, you know, you're in South Texas or parts of Florida, maybe you're still feeding your lawn because of the weather there. But for the most part, we're done as far as like fertilization goes, for the most part. But something you can do, and something that I've done this month, did last month, did this month, and I'm a big fan of, are preventative fungicide apps, primarily for the goal of preventing spring dead spot. If you guys have followed the channel for any period of time, like over the years, and well, I say if you go back 3 years prior, every spring I would have issues with spring dead spot. And then, you know, when I switched to lowering the amount of nitrogen that went into the soil in the fall, and then also doing a preventative fungicide app, I do two apps, two of Headway. Then that really made a noticeable difference. And every year it's been consistent. It wasn't like one and done. Every year it's been a lot more consistent as far as little to no spring dead spot in my lawn ever since introducing preventative fungicide apps. So if you're looking for something to do in the month of November, especially if you've had issues with spring dead spot in the past in your lawn, it's something to consider doing. Again, you know, fungicide is relatively inexpensive in comparison to the damage and how long you're gonna be looking at it if you do happen to get this in your lawn. And the only other thing I'd say is like a biostimulant like carbonized PNG. So I'll share both of those guys with you. If we go to the Golf Course Lawn Store, you go to shop, and Mary Mature Green Biostimulants, you can find carbonized PNG here, front and center. That's what I would do this month. And then for fungicide, depending on whether you like liquid or you like granular, kind of your choice. For liquid, Pillar SC. For granular, Headway G. Either one of those. That's about it, guys. You know, at this point, you should have gotten your pre-emergent down. If you've not applied pre-emergent, you are, you know, you're well behind the 8 ball. You're probably going to be fighting some cool season weeds. But I mean, if you, it's still better to put it out than do nothing, because it's not like there's not going to be more weeds are going to be germinating between now and, you know, February, March. So, you know, the best time to get your pre-emergent out would have been in September. But you know, the second best time is today. So if you've not done pre-emergent, again, I think most of the folks on here would have been on on track with doing that. But if you've not done pre-emergent as yet, you absolutely want to do that. Also, if you're someone that's doing, say you're doing like a split application in the falls to extend your coverage. So I'm a fan of using Spectacle, huge fan of this product. Awesome option. So I did an app at 1/10 of an ounce per thousand in September. And then at the end of this month, November, December, I'll do another app. So, as far as your pre-emergent strategy, if you're someone that is also trying to extend that coverage, the time for you to do that is going to be coming up here fairly soon. So that's the only other thing I would say. I mean, if you've not done pre-emergent as yet, again, it would have been better to do it a couple months ago, but still the second best time is today, because like, the little clip I showed you, there were all those herbicides that were being used. They're doing testing with it, but I mean, it is in general, it is far less expensive to prevent weeds in the first place, to drastically reduce them using pre-emergent, than it is to have to go after them after the fact with post-emergent herbicides. They're more expensive. You have more chance of injuring your lawn. So if you're just looking for the easy button for keeping your lawn weed free, pre-emergent is a worthwhile investment. All right. Okay, next up we got Mr. Robert Rainey. That guy has entered the live stream. He said, good evening. What's going on, Robert? Hope you're doing well, sir. Hey, man, at some point you got to send us a picture of the ryegrass overseed. I know you had a little bitty setback there for a bit, but if you got pictures, maybe not this week, next week, whenever you have time, send us in a picture so we can see how the overseed is coming along. We'd like to see how that's going. All right, next up is Michael Coulthard. He says, hey, Ron, question, putting calcitic lime on my lawn, a pH of 5.0. Goodness gracious, man. Wow, it's on the acidic side for sure. Going to do, I guess, 10 pounds per thousand once a month for 4 months and then retest in the spring. Does that sound good? Yeah, I mean, that could work. I mean, if it could take several months for that lime to react with the soil and really get the pH up, Michael, if it were me, I would go heavier initially. So, I would do something like somewhere between 20 to 30 pounds per thousand if you can. And then if you wanted to do another app of 10 pounds, a month or two from now, that would be okay. But I'd want to front load that more so than spreading it out over several months. In other words, your goal is to put out 40 pounds of lime per 1,000 square feet. I personally would not do that over 4 months. Because lime doesn't behave the same way that like fertilizer does. You go put out nitrogen, assuming conditions are right, you're going to see a response within 5 to 7 days. Lime isn't like that. It can take a while for to bring that pH up. So if it were me, I would do like somewhere between 20 to 30 pounds per thousand initially, and then the rest of your allocation that you want to put out, you can do that over the next few months. Because what you want ideally would be to be in the in March. You pull cores in March to do your soil test, and that your pH is much better. Like you're in the high 5s, low 6s. Like that would be ideal. So by front loading the lime app, I think that's going to put you in a better. Not I think I'm fairly certain that's going to put you in a much better spot to accomplish that versus spreading it out over 4 months. All right. So hope that helps, sir. Great question. Like the fact that you got a soil test. Like that you're doing your amendments to get your pH up, because you are gonna be on the struggle bus a little bit if you're if you leave the soil that acidic. So 5.0, you can absolutely fix that. Just what you're doing is exactly what you need to do. I would get your lime out and then test in late February, early March, and see where you are, and you can kind of go from there. All right. So great idea, man. Thanks for the comment. And I think your plan sounds pretty good. I would just front load it a little bit heavier to begin. All right, next up is Colton Hillebrand. He says, hey, Ron, not sure if you got my pictures back on the 24th of October, but if not, your videos have been a big help. Just started with St. Augustine and installed Zorozoia. Let me see. Is your name, did you come across here as Colton? Oh, you know what? I got your pictures right here, Colton. I'm looking at them right now. You know what? It's a slow night. We're gonna get them up here on the live stream for you. Man, it's a good looking lawn, man. I gotta hand it to you, Colton. It's looking clean. So you have St. Augustine and Zorozoia, huh? No Xeon for you. You decided to go with Zoro. That's okay. Let's see here, Colton, and then I'm just renaming your files really quickly so I can easily reference what I'm looking at here. Oh, dude, wow. So this is where we started, and this is where we are. Woo, man. Talk about a success story. Okay, so Um, Colton, this looks like the zoysia to me. So he put in zoysia. There is picture one. You can tell sodded. I mean, not looking bad, but looks, like a newly sodded lawn. I mean, I've absolutely seen and lived with worse. We can see how it is developing in this picture here, right? So not bad. We went from that to that. So it's growing in, starting to fill in a little bit. And then the money shot, the absolute hotness, right? We got to make sure we show that off properly, is what we're looking for here. I mean, I don't care who you are. I mean, if you don't like zoysia, you have to put some respect on Colton's name with that. I mean, that is fire. So you said, when did you put this in? I'm looking at your email here, Colton. You didn't say when you installed it. Let's see here. So yeah, so zero zoysia cut with Revolution 20 6 blade at 3/4 of an inch. That's what we're looking at here. So 0.75 inch. Oh, it was sodded in July. Yeah. So okay. So that sounds about right. So this was in July, and from July, August, September, October, from July to now, progress. And I will tell you, man, here's the thing, Colton. I'm sure your nutrient program was on point. I'm sure you did a lot of things right, but you really cannot discount the benefits of real mowing. You really can't, man. You can tell that your zoysia absolutely loves it. I mean, it's impossible for us to know because you can't go back and replay time, unfortunately. But I mean, if you've been rotary mowing this, say at like 2 inches, there's no way it was going to be looking like that. So you can tell your equipment's nice and sharp. You're diligent about your mowing, and the lawn looks spectacular. That looks really, really good, man. So great work. Thank you for coming in and maybe put some respect on your name, making everyone recognize your hard work. I dig it. That's really cool, man. From July to now, that's a pretty big improvement. Just keep it up. The nice thing is, that's where you are now. Imagine next season. Like, think about all the stuff you've learned, like all the stuff you've learned about, feeding your lawn and mowing it, and you know what it likes, what it doesn't like. I mean, if you're closing out the season looking like that, man, I mean, your neighbors, if they're trying to compete with you, it's going to be tough, man. I mean, they're all competing for second place. I mean, that's going to be tough. The color's awesome, man. Nice work. Nice work. I salute you. Great job. All right. Next up, we have Mr. Darren Proctor. Darren Proctor's in the live stream. He says, IA. Okay. What's going on, Darren? Hopefully you're doing all right. Hope you're doing all right, sir. And then someone said, drop here and says, someone got some new glasses. Yeah, I still have my old ones, Robert. Still got my old ones here. These are, this is where I wish you're used to seeing, right? So I'm used to seeing. These just cover my eyes better from not only in front of a computer. I'm not doing other stuff where having eye protection is pretty important. That's better from a safety standpoint than these. I actually have some like actual prescription safety glasses coming, but I mean, these are kind of like a blend, right? Best of both worlds. I'm still getting used to it. They're a little bit big for me, but it is what it is. But what? I appreciate that you noticed that, man. I appreciate, Robert, it's almost like, times when people go out and they make changes, someone may lose weight, they may install a new lawn, they may have some big change in their life, and then no one notices. Not you. You have attention to details. So I appreciate that, man. All right, next up is Scott Smith. He says, when you enjoy mowing, it causes withdrawals, going from mowing every 2 to 3 days to pretty much none. I get it. Here's the thing, Scott. We will revisit this conversation in late June next year when it's much hotter and the lawn's growing like wildfire and you have to get out there and mow to stay on top of it. We'll see if you're still as enthusiastic. But I get it, man. I do enjoy mowing. I do some of my best thinking, I always say, when I'm out in the lawn. So yeah, I completely get where you're coming from. Although I do enjoy the downtime for this time of year. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. All right, next up we got Mr. Michael Coulthard. He says, I also have some Bermuda in parts of my zoysia. Do I use recognition by itself or Fungicide or both? Thanks. Great question, Michael. So yes, if you have Bermuda grass in your zoysia and you're trying to control it, recognition by itself will not do it. You need to use Fungicide 2 along with it for best results. So the rates, obviously read the label, but it's like a little over half of an ounce of Fungicide 2 per thousand, like so 0.55 fluid ounces of Fungicide 2 per thousand mixed with 0.03 ounces of recognition per thousand. And you're probably going to say, well, 0.03 doesn't sound like a whole lot. It's not. It's not. You know, if you get the 1.95 ounce bottle of recognition, the big one, it comes with this measuring scoop, and you got two sides. You got like the air quotes big side, which is 0.045, not 0.45, 0.045 ounces, and then this one, the small scoop, that's like you use that much. It didn't look like much. You use that much in 1 gallon of water, along with just over half an ounce of Fungicide 2. Over 1,000 square feet, and that will do a really good job cleaning up that Bermuda grass in your zoysia. For best results, I highly recommend also using a spray adjuvant like a surfactant along with it. This is what I use, and I'll tell you something. Recognition is pretty awesome stuff. I mean, I think we're going to see a lot of uses for this herbicide outside of just Bermuda grass removal in zoysia and St. Augustine and kikuyu grass lawns, because it's the metcamphan and the safener in it is pretty neat. And a lot of the testing that UJ was doing was around that. Like they had a bunch of plots where they're mixing different herbicides with recognition to see what kind of results they got as far as getting great control, but also minimizing damage to your turf grass, right? So I think it's gonna. I mean, right now we only think of this in context of Fungicide and Bermuda grass, but there's going to be a lot of uses for this in the future. I believe. All right, so yeah, that'll be what you want, Michael. And if you want, I've got if you go to the product description on the golf course lawn store for recognition and Fungicide, I want to say we has a video in there. Do we? Maybe I'm wrong. Am I lying to you? Nope, I'm not. Yep. So if you go here really quickly, so if you go to the recognition Fungicide product page on the golf course lawn store and you scroll down. I mean, even if you already have it, it's still useful. You scroll down. It tells you everything it controls, but also we have a video that kind of outlines what I just explained to you as far as rates, how I've used it to get good results. And then the various product labels all here, and then their application rates for Bermuda grass control, again, also laid out here. So even if you're using it just as a reference, worth considering. Again, it's that combination is incredible in the sense that I used it mid-May. My zoysia went in early April. Mid-May, when Bermuda grass was like, I'm coming back, I hit it with recognition and Fungicide, and then I did another round 4 weeks later, and it's pretty much cleaned up. And there was no, when I say there was not like little injury to the zoysia, like you couldn't tell I sprayed anything on it. Like the Bermuda grass was gone, was dead. But the zoysia, again, this is zoysia's only a couple months old, tolerated it really well. You really couldn't tell anything ever happened. And again, if you guys look at my the various shorts that I've done over the course of the season, where there's a period there every other day I was out there filming and showing you guys how the lawn is doing, you'll notice there was never a period where there's any discoloration or any damage to the lawn, despite the fact that you're using, a fairly potent post-emergent herbicide combo on it. So it's I'm saying all this to say, as long as you mix it the correct rates and you spray it at the right rates, you highly unlikely you're going to have an adverse outcome with it, Michael. I think you're really going to be happy with it. And in case you are interested, here is, let me get you linked up here. This is the link to the product description page where you can use it as a reference if you just need it. Recognition and Fungicide 2. Oh, guys, and also, one thing was also cool. So I finally got an answer to the question. Many of you often ask about. Let me remove. This is too long. Many of you asked about Princess 77 and Arden 15, right? Like, why were those grasses discontinued? Because you guys know, many moons ago, there was Princess 77, which it was. Honestly, I mean, although it was slower to germinate, was a prettier of the two between Arden 15 and Princess 77. Arden 15 just germinated a lot faster. Even though they were both like awesome grasses, I was able to talk to someone there who does nothing but breed, Bermuda grass, breed surf grasses, and I said, why did they, question for you, just out of curiosity, why did they discontinue it? He says, and it all came down to production, to yield. Like he says, the grass really checked all the boxes. Like it was as close. It was very much, even though it was an improved common, it behaved very much like how hybrids do. But it just didn't produce enough seed for it to really be viable, or where they could sell it at the scale that they needed to. So that's why it was discontinued. But I mean, so really that, I mean, it did all the other things, but just if you can't produce enough of it, they can't sell it, and it's not worth carrying anymore. So it was interesting to finally get the answer to the question as to why no Arden 15 or Princess 77, why they went away. And now I know. Okay, next up we have Hoffenkamp. Is it Tom? Perhaps? I think so. He says, happy Friday, y'all. Just finished mowing for the second time this week, and it probably goes to once a week from now on. You're still doing better than most of us, Tom. I mean, twice a week mowing is pretty cool. She's slowing down like a triple dose of Primo Max. But still, if you're out still mowing twice a week, that's still, I mean, in November, that's still pretty good. I mean, I think you're in SoCal, right? Tom, that's where you are. So I guess but being closer to the ocean and temperatures are allowing you to still have an active lawn care program this time of the year, when most of us are just kind of watching football and complaining about our lawns going dormant, right? So enjoy it while you have it. Darren Proctor saying, good evening, everyone. What's going on, Darren? Hopefully you're doing all right, sir. I appreciate you coming to hang out in the live stream as always. Then next up is Devin. This is Demir's end of the live stream. He says, what's up, Ron? Looking forward to some good turf talk. It's been a minute. Crazy busy with the course. We've been in the 60s and 70s and have actually had to keep the course open longer than normal. That's awesome, man. That's a good problem to have, right? So yeah, I know you're busy. I know at some point when everything's really slowed down, you'll be able to jump on the show again. But glad to hear that you're having, I guess, for Colorado, a unseasonably warm fall, allowing the course to be open for longer, right? You guys can get out there and enjoy it, and you can continue working on it and all that jazz, right? So it's really cool. Nice. And then Michael Coulthard says, thanks, I will increase lime. Yeah, so I mean, again, I'm not saying you have to put down, I would front load it. So in other words, if you're going to do 40 pounds total as your amendment, I wouldn't do 10, 10, 10 per month. I would go heavier initially and then spread out whatever the total amount you're planning on putting out over in the subsequent months. I would front load it heavier initially if it were me. If your goal is to get the pH at a better spot by early spring, by like March, you know what I mean? Because you think if you did your plan, 10 pounds per thousand per month. So let's say you started this month. So November, December, January, February. So in February, you do your last app, in March, that's when we're starting, at least if you're in Georgia anyway, it's starting to warm up. You're going to start seeing some glimpses of the grass starting to come out of dormancy. You'd want your pH to be in a better spot before then, if it were me. You don't want it to still be on the struggle bus at that point. All right, next up is Mr. Tom Hoffenkamp. He says, hope you are well, Ron. I can't complain. Because you have any Essential G left? Nope. He says, me neither. Threw down my last bag today. Next year, going to rock the carbonized PNG. Awesome. Glad to hear that, Tom. Yeah, no more Essential G. It is gone. Probably will not be returning anytime soon. But there is here's the thing. I can't share all of it yet, but we got some cool stuff that's in the pipeline for next spring. Because I don't have a definitive date yet. I'm not going to tell you exactly what it is, but it's something you guys, I think, will like. Some things that some folks have asked for, and we're always trying to do revisions and make things better. So next year there will be some new things to play with that I think you guys will enjoy. More options for folks. All right. So yeah. How's that for just kind of dangling, saying a whole lot, but also saying nothing at all. All right. Okay. Next up, we have Hoffenkamp says, after the world had a full season of PNG, what should I know or do differently? Not a whole lot. I mean, if you liked Essential G, you'll like carbonized PNG. I mean, there's no smell, there's no odor really to carbonized PNG. So there's that, but I mean, the rates that you would use will still work. You can apply the same rates you were using for Essential G. Yeah, that's about it. There's not a whole lot else. I mean, if you enjoyed the granular biostimulant and the results you got with Essential G, you will like what you get with carbonized PNG without any odor. So, although, believe it or not, some folks have complained about that. Some folks have been like, man, can you put the stink back in it? I'm like, man, listen, some of y'all don't want it to smell. Some of you want it to smell. Some of you guys want more biochar. Some of you don't want. It's like, you can please some people sometimes, but you can't please all the people all the time. So I think the current formula, not I think the current formulation of carbonized PNG is where it's going to sit for the foreseeable future. It's definitely not changing this next season. So the thing I'm talking about has nothing to do with carbonized PNG. All right. Okay, next up we have Michael Coulthard. He says, Ron, sorry if you already responded. Do I use recognition, Fungicide, or both for spot spraying Bermuda in my zoysia? Thanks. You use both. Recognition by itself is not going to do it, and you don't want to use Fungicide by itself because you're like zoysia. If you spray Fungicide 2 at the rates that you need to be able to control Bermuda grass, highly likely you're going to have some discoloration in your zoysia. Or you could just mix recognition and Fungicide, which is where you're supposed to do it, and get rid of the Bermuda grass, and your zoysia will still be in great shape. So that is what I would do. It's what I have done on my lawn. Again, what I'm suggesting, literally, if you think about it, I used that combination on a lawn that was less than 2 months old, and there were no adverse effects. And talking to some of the one of the researchers at UGA, he was telling me some of the testing they were doing as far as rates with recognition, like because they're university, they can test and see what kind of effects they have at different rates, more so than we would want to do on our lawns. And like recognition is really, really cool stuff. So the long short of it is, if you spray it like per the instructions, per like those rates I gave you, like you're highly unlikely you're going to have a negative result, and it's going to do a great job cleaning up the Bermuda grass. So both of them together: recognition, Fungicide, surfactant. If you want to see where you sprayed, a little bit of spray indicator dye, not a bad idea as well too. And then in 4 weeks, repeat that. And then you really should be good with Bermuda grass for the season. Now, here's the one thing you have to realize, Michael, unless, I'm not sure where you are in the country, but remember, when you're spraying, when you're using Fungicide 2 in recognition to control Bermuda grass, as much as it pains me to say this, we're treating Bermuda grass as a weed, which I know, tough to say, but it happens. So given that it's a weed, the results, or we're treating it as a weed, the results that you're going to get from it are going to be better whenever the Bermuda grass is actively growing. So again, I'm not sure where in the country you are. If you're in South Texas, Florida, like Southern Florida, somewhere where it's still relatively hot and Bermuda grass is still actively growing, you're going to get really good control. What you may find though is if that's not you and you spray it now, one, it may take longer to see results, and you may have to just in the spring, you may have to go back at it again. So like most herbicides, whenever the weed you're trying to control is actively growing, they're going to take it up. The herbicide is going to translocate. It's just going to work better versus doing it when the weed is just growing a lot slower. And Bermuda grass this time of year for the most part is growing slower than it would be in, say, May, June, July timeframe. So just keep that in mind. If you go out and you spray and you get one, it takes longer than you expect, or the results aren't awesome, don't chalk that up to recognition and Fungicide not working, because the combination absolutely works. It's just more so that the plant you're trying to control, again in this case Bermuda grass, isn't really growing aggressively in most parts of the country this time of year. So just kind of be prepared for that, is what I would tell you, because again, we're in November, right? So hope that helps. But yeah, as long as you stick to those rates, you should get a pretty good result with that herbicide combo. All right. Okay, next up, we have Mr. Tutrilla from Manila in the live stream. He says, hey, Ron, happy Friday, everyone. What's going on, Tutrilla? Hopefully you are doing well. Is your zoysia slowing down too? Trying to check out on you. All right, next up is Robert Rainey. He says, Michael says, thanks. Do I also need to use surfactant? Yes, I would use surfactant. In general, when you're using post-emergent herbicides, you want to use a surfactant, a spreader sticker with them, unless the label specifically says not to. So because you just get better results. You know what I mean? Like Celsius by itself to control a spurge works pretty good. Celsius with a spreader sticker with a surfactant, noticeably better results. So with recognition and Fungicide, yes, you are going to want to use surfactant. The rates for that, like 1/3 of an ounce, so 0.30 ounces per gallon over 1,000 square feet, works pretty well. So just plan accordingly. So 0.3 ounces, again, will produce pretty good results for you. Okay, next up is Robert Rainey. He says, speaking of Bermuda seed, I noticed when purchasing ryegrass from Stover Seed Co. had 2 varieties, Royal, TXD, and Rio. Finer texture with greater density is what is advertised. Looks great from the pictures. Cool. Very, very nice, Robert. Yeah, I've not seen either of those in person myself, but I mean, I have no reason to believe that Royal TXD or Rio would not look good. After all, it's Bermuda grass, right? I mean, you're already ahead of the curve if you're a Bermuda grass cultivar, right? Am I right? Am I right? I think I'm right. Okay. Next up is Whiskey Blood. He says, located in a cool season turf zone, would you recommend fungus prevention application within a residential program for cool season? If yes, what's the program look like? Yes, I would, because while you guys, I mean, while you don't necessarily have to deal with spring dead spot for the most part, for most cool season grasses anyway, what you do tend to have to contend with are like the snow moles. So in that case, yeah, a fungicide application would preventively would be good for that in your case as well. So I'm not sure if you've seen this Whiskey Blood, but if you go to the Golf Course Lawn Store, if you go to resources and lawn care schedule, and you scroll down to the monthly application schedule, you see we have a breakdown for both warm season lawns and cool season lawns, like what you have, and this pretty much month by month outlines what we recommend. We have folks from Washington to Florida that follow this, and they get really good results in their lawn care programs with it. But yeah, you get into October and November, a fungicide app then, and then one in November. This is especially true if you're talking about turf that's highly maintained. So for turf like where you're real mowing it, it's stressed perhaps a little bit more than say a lawn that gets mowed like once every couple of weeks. Fungicide app in October, November is good insurance. So yes, this plan is what I would recommend. So we recommend fungicide apps twice in the year, or two different periods of the year. One in the late spring, early summer, so May and June, and then again in the fall, so October, November. And again, it's just preventative in nature. The idea is to get ahead of disease problems before they surface. I mean, that fungicide coupled with like just good common sense practices, right? Like making sure your equipment is nice and sharp, you're not overusing nitrogen, that type of thing. But it's just like another component to a good program, just to help keep your lawn looking nice and keeping disease out of it. All right. So yeah, hopefully that helps you. And if you want, I will link it here in the chat. There you go. All right. So there you go. So that's the schedule I was referring to for you. All right. Okay. Next up, we have Two Trilla. Let's see. Two Trilla. Actually, Mark of Cold Hearted back. He says, Roger on that. Sorry for the repeat question here in Columbus, Georgia area. No worries, man. And then Two Trilla, he says, thanks, Ron. I'm now twitching to know what the new product is. So many questions, but little answers. Did you use this season? Is it in liquid form? Will it replace an existing product? I will tell you it is something for your grass, and your grass will like it. I'll give you that. How about that? I can't. Because here's why. If I go into details about it, the next question is going to be when, and if I want to have it, I want to be able to, whenever I do start talking about it, or whenever I like reveal exactly what it is, we're going to be able to have dates, right? Because I hate getting a question about when is something going to be out, and I'll be like, I don't know, soon. So, but yeah, it's cool. Here's the thing, dude. You already have a great program. I'm sure you are either doing our program or you're doing a combination of it. You're doing some parts of it. Like this is going to make that even better, and it's going to give you more options. All right, because some of the feeding programs, some of the feeding options that we have lack the variety that some people want. So we're trying to fix that. That's probably the most I can say without saying too much. All right, Chutrilla. So yeah, it's something I think you guys will be excited about. I don't want to talk it up too much, but it is something that's going to be pretty cool. It's something that the store needs, something that folks have asked for, and it's going to be making something that's already out there even that much better. All right. All right. So let's see what else we have here. No other questions, guys. It's going to be a pretty quiet night tonight. One thing I can also share with you guys was kind of interesting. I think I took a picture of it so I can get it up here on the live stream. One of the the interesting discussions that we had, or that was talked about, was around diseases, was around lawn diseases. And, one of the questions you guys often ask is, do you need to water in fungicides? If so, how do you water in fungicides? And, and how much carrier, like how much water do you need to use? Um, this is, I got a couple of pictures here. This was it was, I forget his last name, is Lee from NC State. So he called into this via Zoom, and it was interesting. Depending on what kind of disease you're trying to control, the amount of water that you put on the lawn whenever you are putting out fungicides can vary quite a bit. So we got a little time here, so we can nerd out just a little bit. Let me convert this real quick, and I'll share with you guys the two pictures. Yes. Yeah. So it talks about if you had like a leaf disease, and or one that is more root, that it's what's more in the roots, like take all root rot or whatnot, how much water you would need to put down. So as an example, let's do this one here. Let me get this over. Move this over. Okay, so this was pretty cool. So if you were dealing with a disease that, for the most part, is targeting tissue that's like the grass, like the at the crown, or actually at the the actual leaf. Let me share this here. This is gonna load. Yeah. This is a picture of a slide that I took. So you apply the product, depending on how much carrier you're using when you put it out. And then how much irrigation would make sense, right? So if you're talking about something that's near the surface, 1 to 2 gallons per 1,000 square feet. If it's just below the surface, 2 gallons per 1,000 square feet. And then if you're talking about something that's that's a root disease, then you need 5 gallons per 1,000 square feet, or water in with 1/8 of irrigation. And what was interesting about this, right? Common question that folks often ask is, I apply my fungicide. How big a deal is it that I run irrigation, right? That I do some type of irrigation. And this picture, some testing they did, was actually pretty cool, showing no irrigation, a tiny bit of irrigation, more irrigation, and more irrigation, right? Even more. So this is a picture of a slide. So yeah, let me get you off of here too, Trilla. So if you look out on the left, this was a little plugs that I forget what disease that they hit this with. But the left side you can see is the control. Nothing was done to it. And then fungicide applied with no irrigation. You can tell for the most part the fungicide didn't do a whole lot. The lawn was still damaged, or the grass was still damaged quite a bit. 1/10 of an inch of irrigation, a little bit less damage, but still probably more than what most people would want to see. And then 1/8 of irrigation, which is that's still quite a bit. And you can see that much better control as far as the fungicide being able to work. And then finally, 1/4 of an inch of irrigation, the results you got with that. So long short of it is, water in your fungicide, and water it in right away. Like they were even sharing some of the research that said that even if you waited as much as anywhere between 24 to 48 hours afterwards, it was much more difficult to move it into the root zone. So the long short of it is, if you're applying fungicide, apply it and run irrigation immediately afterwards for best results. So it was really cool. And again, some of these folks, again, I was able to make contact with them. And, if you guys are interested in that kind of stuff, we'll see if we can get some of them on the show to chat about it a bit more. Again, it was really, really, really cool stuff. So yes, irrigation, especially for fungicides, really important. And in general, the sooner after the application is done, the sooner the shorter the period between when you apply fungicide and you put some water on it, whether it be for irrigation or rainfall, the better. All right. Okay. Next up, we have Cedric Garth. Cedric Garth says, "Hey, Ron, my Bermuda grass is still green in Virginia Beach. Should I be worried?" Yeah, absolutely. You probably got that bad. It's a bad stand of whatever you got, man. That's definitely not normal. Cedric, no, I'm just messing with you. No, you got nothing to worry about. Here's the thing: you're near the ocean, you're near the Atlantic. So in general, your summers are going to be milder, your winters are going to be milder, your fall is going to be milder. So it's not surprising that your lawn is still green. Like Nate sent us some pictures of his lawn from Central Texas. Where's Nate's pictures? Where's his lawn? Yeah, so these pictures were taken a couple days ago. This is in the middle of Texas, right? So I wouldn't be surprised that you being in Virginia Beach, if your Bermuda grass lawn still looked like that, because again, being close to the ocean, it's just going to be a bit milder, right? As far as really, really, really cold temperatures. So enjoy it while you got it, man. And then Tutrilla says, definitely interested, would love to have them on. Yeah, I'll see if I can make it happen. I mean, I think they want to share some of the cool stuff they're working on. And one of the points in my discussion with them when I was talking about like, how, making content for social media, I said one of the big mistakes that I think that that you will find if your goal is to talk to, depends on your goal is to who you want to talk to, right? If you're trying to talk to other PhDs or other people in universities, then whatever, then you've got your papers and you guys can speak at whatever level you want. But if your goal is to reach an audience like your typical homeowner, then you have to, it works better if you explain whatever you try and convey, whatever it is you're trying to convey at a level that they understand. You know what I mean? So that was an interesting point. I think they really appreciated that, because one of the questions is, how do we get some of our research out and let folks know some of the cool things we're working on and how the work that we're doing can help them get better lawns. And I said, yeah, I mean, if you guys want to make content, fine. If you guys want to come on the live stream, you're welcome to do that. If you decide to make your own content, the only piece of advice I would give you is know your audience. Like you're not talking to like the people in a bunch of PhDs in the room. You're not talking to the people that are here. You're talking to a person that just want weeds out of their lawn. They want their grass to stay green. Mission accomplished. They want their lawn to be the best looking lawn on the street. So if you can help with that, you can take whatever knowledge you're trying to bring across and express that in a way that the average layperson can understand and digest, then you're going to be successful. So should be a good time, man. We'll see what we can make happen here over the next couple of months. I might work on, I will definitely reach out to them and see about getting some of that set up. I'll probably move it more towards like closer to like the season, like when people are more interested in grass. Like I could do it now, but like the viewership right now isn't as great, and it'd probably be better to do it maybe later, maybe closer to next year. Maybe what I might do is maybe film some of it, maybe do some stuff that's offline and then release the videos in the season and also have them on for a live stream. Maybe a combination of both. I'll see what they want to do. All right. Next up is Ahmad Jones. He says, I'm expecting my first frost Monday morning, 29 degrees. Sounds awful. I'm going to miss my Bermuda grass in Memphis. It's going to be back in the 70s later on in the week. Well, 29 degrees for a couple of days. Your grass should, it's probably not going to like that. But here's the thing. It's a time of year when it should be going dormant. So let it go. Let it go. Next up, we have Mr. Hayes. He says, hey, Ron, my fescue is growing strong. Cutting twice a week. Can I still put out RGS and Humic 12? Yeah, I don't have any direct experience with those products, Mr. Hayes, but I imagine that if you are still actively mowing your lawn, any kind of biosimilar, anything you're going to do to help improve soil quality is going to be a good thing. You talk about fescue grass. On that topic, it was really cool. We think about like our, University of Georgia, it's hot down in Tifton, and that their big thing is like, all the Bermuda grasses, right? So like, Tiff Tough, Tiffway 419, Tiff Grand, Tiff Eagle, like all, anything with Tiff in it, came out of a lot of the research they did down at UGA in Tifton, right? But the thing that was most interesting when I was there is all the research they're also doing on cool season grasses, right? Because you think like, why would you really do cool season grass in Georgia, like South Georgia? Not really going to work that well. But part of what they have, because they have natural drought, it's just harsher conditions for cool season lawns. They're able to go out and plant different test plots and see which ones work better. And if you haven't seen the video that I posted yesterday, and there's also one that came out today on that, it's worth taking a look at. It's like 5 or 6 minutes. It's really interesting, just showing that a plot of perennial ryegrass that was planted last fall, right? That survived through the spring of this year, that's pretty easy to do. But then we get into the summertime when most perennial ryegrass dies, and most of the plot absolutely died out. But you had this one winner, right? They go through, they do all their testing. They had this one plot that was absolutely a winner. So now they'll take it, study it, try and figure out, and then crossbreed it more and try and figure out what's unique to this that we can do to make it a better version of perennial ryegrass, so that not that we'll have perennial ryegrass year round here in Georgia, because we're just probably not going to do that. But more so if you're in Ohio or Virginia or Delaware, somewhere somewhere further north where perennial ryegrass is used year round, you can create a cultivar that's just more hardy, that's just less likely to suffer during the summer, like how most ryegrasses do. So it's really cool. But both for that and also for fescue, they're doing some real cool testing. They had a couple of test plots for fescue they're working on that were just absolutely gorgeous, and they were comparing it against some of the currently commercially available fescues, and their stuff, I mean, it was looking really, really solid. I mean, granted, still a lot of testing, a couple of years to go, but it's cool to see the amount of work that's being put into just green lawn year round, the things that we all really care about. All right, next up we have Provisions Barbecue. He says, "Hey Ron, sorry I just jumped in. I live in an area that snows, and my sidewalk strip gets plowed with the snow on it, and the salt that comes with it. Is there anything to throw down? Anything to throw down gypsum before the snow?" I've heard, it's a good question on Provisions Barbecue. I wonder if I wish Devin were on the live stream. I'd be able to run this by him. I've heard there's some benefits to it. It's not something that I've ever tested myself. To know that what results you would have, if any. I know there are some salt flush products that you can use, like Ecologel makes one. We don't carry it anymore, but I mean, if you get on their website, they probably have it, or someone else will carry it. They make a salt flush that you'd want to use. That if they're putting salt out, and you're worried about it causing damage to your grass, that's a good product to use to help mitigate some of the damage that your lawn can see from all the salt that gets washed into it due to the snow you get in your area. So look into that. I think it's called like NAX is what it is, or just go to Ecologel's website. You'll be able to see it there. That's what I would recommend. But as far as gypsum goes, I've heard that, but not something I've done a ton of research into, because it's kind of not something that we deal with a lot here in Georgia. So I'll do some digging. I'll get back to you, because I imagine now that we're getting into the late fall, early winter, it's going to be something that a lot of folks with cool season lawns are going to be dealing with. So hopefully I can get a better answer for you next time. All right, Hoffenkamp is up next. "I'm in with Trilla. In years past, new stuff has smoked my favorite products. First was Nutrisolve, then Essential G. I'm nervous for..." Okay, listen. Okay. Here's the thing, guys. The new thing is not going to get rid of anything that you currently like. It's going to be more of in addition to than replacement of, for the most part. It's going to be like in addition to versus replacement for the most part. All right. I think you'll be happier. It's going to be all right. Don't get nervous. It's going to be good. It's going to be good, man. It's going to be all right. I promise. It's going to be good. All right, next up is Mr. Hayes. "I saw that video you posted, waiting on what they come up with." Yeah, and the thing is, it's a several-year process. So even though you look at those plots and they're promising, they still have to go through several seasons of testing to see a couple different things, right? Like, does it over several years, is it consistent? If it's one that's going to be seeded, does it produce enough seed for it to be viable? So there's a bunch of different boxes that have to get checked for it to for a grass to actually come to market. You know what I mean? It's a lot more work than you realize. All right, and then next up is Hoffenkamp, because "Each time the new product is better, so there is that comfort." I'll tell you, this will be better. It's going to be an improvement on some things that we currently carry, and then something new as well. So I think you'll be pleasantly surprised, be pleasantly happy with it, Tom, whenever it comes out, which will be sometime next year, if the stars align, everything goes to plan. I had a meeting today about it. It was very promising, and I think next year you guys will like it. Right? You'll have some cool stuff to play with. All right, so good stuff. All right, guys, let's see what else we have here. We're running out. I think that was our last comment or question of the evening. Again, it is November, so it is. I get that folks are doing other things and watching live streams about lawn care this time of year. But yeah, this was a good show. I mean, it was fun. It was a great week again. If anyone from UGA is watching, again, many thanks for the invitation to come down and to to give me a little bit of time to speak to you guys. Again, I was by far the dumbest person in the room, and that's okay. It was a lot of fun. Just it's really cool hearing about all the research that's being done, and just the amount of passion that really goes that these people have for just improving plants, improving grasses. It's really cool stuff, right? All right, let me see if we have anything else before we wrap it up. We have Jay Rivera. He says, "Hey Ron, I am in Milford, New Jersey, overseeding my cool season lawn on September 26th, and I let it grow until the first mow of 10/19. That was probably a bit too long, but okay. Mowed again on 10/28, but haven't been able to do much since. Okay." He says, "Now we have temps in the low 50s and 40s. What should I do before the end of the season?" Here's the thing, Jay. I personally feel that it's a mistake to wait that long to begin mowing a new lawn. Granted, you can't go back in time and redo it. But if your lawn is actively growing now, you said Milford, New Jersey. If your lawn is actively growing, if you can increase the mowing frequency, mowing helps believe it or not, it's one of the best things you can do for your lawn. It helps stimulate growth. It helps it sends signals to help encourage growth. And given that your lawn, I mean, it sounds like you're overseeding, so it's not like it's a brand new stand of turf grass. But if you want to put it in the best position as we get towards the end of the season, don't change the height of cut or anything like that, but just increase your mowing frequency. So instead of mowing it, once every couple of weeks, if you just go to mowing it once a week, one, it's visually going to look better, and it's going to help improve the lawn before things check out. Outside of that, as far as inputs, I mean, you really don't need to. I mean, being in New Jersey, it's not going to be long before you guys have snow on the ground. So as far as fertilizing, not something I'd really necessarily suggest. This late in the season, not really necessary. If you wanted to do a fungicide app, that would be a good idea. If you wanted to put out a like a granular biostimulant like essential, got talking about essential G all the time, like carbonized PNG, that would also be a good option. But outside of that, I would just say mow it, and just enjoy it until it goes dormant. So products that I'm talking about as far as fungicides go, Jay, I'll send you a couple of links here in the chat. So this is the fungicide that I was talking about. Jay Rivera. So there is, did that backwards. Let's try that one more again. Jay, and then this is fungicide. And then for the biostimulant, carbonized PNG, you've got that one right here. These are the only things that I would do, if anything. Outside of that, nothing else. Okay. And enjoy the new lawn, man. Congrats on the overseed, and hopefully the lawn is doing well. If you get a chance, take pictures of it, send it to us. We'll show everybody on the live stream maybe next week if you want. All right. Okay. Next up, we have Provisions Barbecues. Jay, because he's also in New Jersey. I live like 15 minutes from you. We're just about done going here, bud. Consistent frost every morning is going to stop growth big time. Soil temperatures by us are like in the mid 40s. So yes, you're pretty much done. You are done, though. So just enjoy the downtime. Watch football, think about your plans for next season, that kind of stuff. All right. And then last up, he says, "Thanks for the suggestions, Ron. Just been busy with a newborn. Life is a bit different nowadays. Do tell. Kids will change things, huh?" Well, again, congrats on the baby, and congrats on the new lawn. And Tom is voting in as far as having the folks on the live stream. He is saying, he says, "We got college education." It's good. "We got college educations. Let's have him on this winter when talking grass is for hardcore fans. Then invite them back in the spring, and all the kinks will be already worked out." So what you're saying is you want the American approach, right? So why have one or the other? Why not both? I get it. I got you, Tom. Well, I'll reach out to him. I'll see what we can put together, and we can do a couple of live streams and have the folks at UGA on. Definitely want to get there's two gentlemen. One that was specialized in like lawn diseases, so all about fungicides, and then another that was Ben. That was all like he is the herbicide guy. So if you want to know how to kill a weed, he's the guy to talk to. So yeah, that'd be. I think of the two, I mean, fungicides are like lawn diseases are kind of cool, but I mean, I think that you guys will really enjoy the how do I get rid of this weed in my lawn question. He will be able to throw. He'll be really, really helpful on that one. So yeah, so good stuff. And then Steve K says, "Let's watch football. I'm an Auburn fan. I've moved on to NHL. LOL. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I guess." I guess. But yeah. But at any rate, guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. I will reach back out to the folks at UGA and see what we can put together. As always, enjoy the downtime that we have. If you're looking for an amazing assortment of fungicides, fertilizers, biostimulants, everything you need to create a lawn that your neighbors are absolutely going to envy, feel free to give us a look at the Golf Course Lawn Store. We'd love the opportunity to earn your business. We also didn't put out a blog post this week. When we'll have one, probably 2 out next week to make up for the one we do this week, but also be for sure take advantage of that. All the free resources that are on the store that that help you guys get the absolute best lawn ever. Again, thanks so much for taking the time to hang out with me. We'll see you guys next week. Have an amazing weekend. Stay warm out there.